The sky hung heavy with dark clouds, thick and swirling, warning of the storm that was fast approaching. The wind carried the scent of rain, mixing with the earthy aroma of the vast fields stretching endlessly beneath the ominous sky. Jack moved steadily across the open landscape, his boots crunching softly against the dry soil and scattered stones. The wide expanse of grass rippled like waves in the rising wind, tall stalks bending and swaying with the gusts. Jack was no stranger to this land. A young man in his early 20s, he had spent his life close to nature, roaming forests, crossing rivers, and learning the subtle languages of animals. His sun-kissed skin and calloused hands told stories of hard work and countless hours spent under the open sky. He moved with a calm confidence, a deep respect for the world around him. As the first distant rumbles of thunder rolled across the horizon, Jack's sharp ears caught an unexpected sound, a faint, fragile whimper, almost drowned by the rustling grass and the growing wind. Curious and concerned, he paused, scanning the landscape with keen eyes. The sound came again, a soft, desperate call from somewhere in the tall grass. Jack's heart quickened. He began moving cautiously toward the noise, stepping lightly to avoid startling whatever creature was hidden in the thick blades. The sky darkened further, and the first drops of rain began to fall, scattered and cold, yet Jack pressed on, driven by a sense of urgency. There, tangled in the golden sea of grass, he spotted the source of the cries, a small figure struggling weakly among the stalks. It was a foal, its coat a rich reddish-brown, its eyes wide with fear and confusion. The young horse trembled violently, its slender legs awkward and unsteady. Alone and vulnerable, the foal was clearly lost, separated from its herd. Jack knelt slowly on the wet ground, careful not to frighten the frightened animal further. His voice lowered to a soft, soothing tone. "Hey there, little one. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." The foal's ears twitched, and its trembling eased just a fraction. Jack extended his hand slowly, allowing the foal to sniff his fingers before gently reaching out to stroke its soft muzzle. The connection was tentative but profound, a silent understanding blossoming between man and animal. The wind picked up again, carrying the distant echo of thunder closer. Jack looked around, his mind racing. The foal needed shelter, safety, and someone to watch over it until it could be reunited with its mother. But first, he had to earn its trust. Over the next several minutes, Jack remained still, speaking softly and moving deliberately, never forcing contact but inviting it instead. The foal's breathing grew steadier, its muscles relaxing under the calming presence. Slowly, it nuzzled Jack's palm, a tentative gesture of acceptance. In that moment, under the brooding sky and amidst the whispering grasses, a special bond began to take root, one forged from kindness, patience, and the shared need for safety. Jack knew this was only the beginning of a journey, one that would test his strength and compassion in ways he had never imagined. As the rain began to fall steadily, soaking the earth and drenching the young foal's coat, Jack rose, gently guiding the animal toward the shelter of a nearby copse of trees. The storm was coming, fierce and unrelenting, but Jack was determined. Together, they would face it, and whatever challenges lay beyond. The sky continued to darken. The heavy clouds now spilling rain steadily, drenching the earth beneath Jack's feet. Through the driving rain, Jack kept his gaze fixed on the distant silhouette of the horse herd. A group of strong, mature horses stood on a ridge, watching silently as the storm began to engulf the open fields. Among them were the Foal's family, their anxious eyes scanning the landscape for their lost member. Jack's heart tightened at the sight. The foal's trembling had lessened since he found it, but it was clear the young horse was too weak to make the journey back on its own. The deep water and thick mud of the marshy area between them and the herd loomed as a daunting obstacle. The cold seeped into Jack's bones, and the wind howled around him, but his resolve was unshaken. The foal nuzzled closer to Jack as he carefully lifted it into his arms. The small body was fragile, soaked through, and shivering, yet it nestled trustingly against him. Jack's muscles strained with the weight, but the foal's safety was worth every ounce of effort. With cautious steps, Jack began wading toward the marshland, the tall grass giving way to muddy banks and pools of cold water. Each step was treacherous. The mud sucked at his boots, threatening to trap him, while icy water lapped at his legs. The rain blurred his vision, mixing with sweat and determination. At one point, his foot slipped, and he nearly fell, but he caught himself with a grunt, holding the foal securely. "Stay with me," he whispered, the words more for his own strength than the foal's. The little horse blinked up at him, eyes trusting and full of hope. The deeper Jack moved into the marsh, the more the landscape tested him. The mud grew thicker, pulling at his legs, making every step an exhausting battle. Branches scraped his face, and the relentless rain chilled him to the bone. But still, he pressed forward. Behind him, the herd watched silently, a protective presence on the ridge. The horse's powerful forms contrasted with the foal's delicate frame, underscoring the urgency of Jack's mission. He was carrying not just the foal but the future of that family. As he reached the other side of the marsh, Jack could see the sheltering trees near the herd's location. The promise of safety and reunion drove him onward despite the fatigue burning through his limbs. Finally, after what felt like hours, Jack reached the edge of the herd. The horses stirred, sensing the foal's return. Jack knelt, lowering the foal gently to the ground. The young horse stumbled slightly but then, encouraged by its family's welcoming nuzzles and whinnies, began to stand on its own. Jack watched with a swelling heart as the foal tentatively took a few steps toward its mother. The older horses gathered around protectively, their eyes bright with relief and gratitude. The bond between foal and family was restored. Exhausted but triumphant, Jack smiled despite the cold and wet. His clothes clung to him, soaked through, and his muscles ached. But the sense of fulfillment warmed him from within. He had braved the storm, mud, and cold to reunite a lost life with its family. As the rain began to lighten and the sky showed hints of clearing, Jack stood beside the herd for a moment, feeling the deep connection between man and nature. This journey was a testament to perseverance, compassion, and the powerful ties that bind all living beings. With one last glance at the reunited family, Jack turned away, ready to face whatever lay ahead, strengthened by the knowledge that sometimes the greatest challenges bring the most meaningful rewards. The rain had finally subsided, but the heavy clouds still lingered overhead like a looming reminder of the challenges that nature could bring. Jack moved steadily through the uneven terrain, his body aching from the hours of exertion, but his spirit burning brighter than ever. In his arms, the young foal nestled closer, seeking comfort in the presence of the man who had become its protector, its unlikely guardian. Each step was a test of endurance. Jack's muscles, taxed from carrying the small creature across mud and water, screamed with fatigue. His clothes clung to him, soaked and heavy, and the chill in the air threatened to sap his strength. Yet with every stumble, every aching breath, there was a fire inside him that refused to dim. The foal shifted, its warm head resting gently against Jack's shoulder. That simple gesture was a balm to Jack's weary body, a quiet affirmation of trust and connection. It reminded him that this journey was not just about physical strength, but about something far deeper, a bond forged through compassion and mutual reliance. Jack's mind drifted as he walked, reflecting on the path that had led him here. He had always felt a profound connection to the natural world, but this experience was revealing new depths to that relationship. It was no longer just about coexistence, it was about partnership and respect. The foal's soft breath against his skin was a steady rhythm in the quiet, a reminder of life's fragility and resilience. Jack tightened his grip slightly, steadying both of them against the uneven ground. "We're almost there," he whispered, a vow more to himself than to the foal. Despite his exhaustion, Jack's senses remained alert. The distant calls of birds, the rustling of leaves in the breeze, even the scent of wet earth, all spoke to him in a language he understood deeply. This was home, and he was its guardian as much as he was a visitor. Moments later, a sudden sharp pain shot through Jack's calf as he slipped on a slick patch of moss-covered rock. He stumbled, nearly dropping the foal, but instinct and determination caught him. He steadied himself, gritting his teeth against the discomfort. The foal pressed closer, sensing the falter, offering silent encouragement. That moment crystallized everything Jack was feeling, the fragile balance between vulnerability and strength, the necessity of resilience in the face of hardship. The journey was demanding more from him than physical endurance, it was demanding heart. As they continued, the landscape began to change. The dense forest they had been navigating gave way to a gentle slope dotted with wildflowers and soft grasses. The air grew warmer, and sunlight filtered through the clouds in golden beams. Jack's pace slowed, allowing the foal to rest against him, its small body a source of quiet power. He thought about the many stories he had heard growing up, tales of people and animals connected by unspoken bonds, of shared struggles and triumphs. Now, living one of those stories, Jack understood the truth in them. This was not merely a rescue. It was a journey of discovery, of strength. resilience, and profound respect. With renewed resolve, Jack pressed on, feeling the weight of responsibility but also the gift of trust bestowed upon him by the foal. Each time the young horse leaned into him, Jack felt a surge of energy, a reminder that he was not alone in this fight. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Jack spotted the distant outline of the foal's herd. The sight was a beacon of hope and completion, a promise that this arduous journey would soon reach its end. He paused for a moment, looking down at the foal whose eyes met his with a quiet understanding. No words were needed. The connection was clear. This journey had changed them both. With steady steps, Jack moved forward, ready to reunite the foal with its family. But more than that, he carried with him a renewed sense of purpose, a commitment to protect, to respect, and to honor the delicate bond between humans and the natural world. This was the true strength he had discovered, not just in muscle or endurance, but in the courage to care deeply and to persevere against all odds. The sky was a canvas of fading light, the warm hues of sunset casting a golden glow over the vast landscape. After the long and arduous journey, Jack finally approached the edge of the meadow where the herd of horses had gathered. His heart pounded with a mixture of relief, anticipation, and quiet awe. The weight of the foal in his arms felt lighter now, not because the young horse had grown, but because the moment they had both been striving toward was near. Jack's breath caught as he lowered himself to the soft grass. Careful not to startle the foal, gently, he placed the small creature down, feeling its trembling lessen as it sensed the presence of its family. The foal's legs wobbled uncertainly for a moment before it found its balance. Looking up with wide eyes that reflected both exhaustion and hope. Then, from the far side of the meadow, movement stirred. The herd had sensed their lost member's return. The mother horse, a magnificent mare with a sleek, glossy coat and eyes filled with worry, broke into a run. The other horses followed, their powerful bodies moving with a grace and urgency that spoke of deep bonds and ancient instincts. Jack watched, heart swelling, as the mare reached the foal. Nuzzling it tenderly, the young horse responded with a soft whinny, pressing into its mother's warmth. The herd closed in, surrounding the pair with gentle touches and quiet neighs, a family reunited after a long separation. The scene was breathtaking, filled with raw emotion that transcended words. Jack stood quietly, feeling the enormity of the moment settle over him like a warm embrace. He had witnessed something sacred, the unbreakable ties that connect family, the resilience of life, and the profound beauty of nature's cycles. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows and bathing the meadow in a soft, amber light, Jack felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The foal was safe, and the herd was whole again. This was the reward for every step, every challenge faced along the way. A gentle breeze whispered through the grass, carrying with it the scent of earth and wildflowers, a reminder of the world they all shared and the responsibilities it entailed. Jack breathed deeply, his spirit renewed by the encounter. He knew this was more than just a rescue. It was a testament to the power of kindness, courage, and connection, and as he turned to leave, Jack carried with him a heart full of gratitude and a commitment to protect the fragile bonds that make life meaningful. The sun had long set beyond the horizon, leaving behind a tapestry of stars shimmering in the clear night sky. Jack sat quietly by a small campfire, its flickering flames casting warm, dancing shadows across his face. The day's events, the rescue, the journey, the reunion, played vividly in his mind. Each moment etched deeply into his heart. The weight of the foal's fragile life in his arms had been a profound responsibility, one that had tested every ounce of his patience, compassion, and strength. As he gazed into the fire, Jack realized that the true power he had drawn upon was not just physical endurance, but something far more profound. It was patience, the quiet strength to wait and to listen, to move gently and with respect, allowing trust to grow slowly but surely. It was compassion, the willingness to open his heart to another being's fear and vulnerability, to meet it with kindness rather than force. And most importantly, it was love, a deep, unconditional love for life in all its forms, a recognition of the sacred connection that binds all creatures together. Jack's experience with the foal had changed him. It had opened his eyes to the delicate balance of the natural world and the crucial role humans could play as guardians rather than conquerors. He understood now that every action mattered. Every choice carried consequences that rippled through the ecosystem. The foal's survival was a small victory in the vastness of the wild. But it was also a symbol, a reminder that even the smallest life deserved care and protection. Determined to honor this newfound wisdom, Jack made a silent vow beside the crackling fire. He would dedicate himself to protecting not just the horses of the meadow, but all creatures that called the wilderness home. His mission was clear: to safeguard the freedom and safety of every living being, ensuring that their lives could unfold in harmony and peace. Over the following days, Jack's actions reflected this commitment. He increased his patrols around the fields and forests, watching for signs of danger and helping injured or vulnerable animals whenever he could. His connection with the local community deepened as he shared his story, inspiring others to respect and protect the wildlife that surrounded them. Jack also took time to learn more about animal behavior, about ecosystems, about the delicate interplay of life. He sought out elders and naturalists, eager to absorb their knowledge and to blend traditional wisdom with modern conservation practices. Through it all, the memory of the foal's trusting eyes and the warmth of that gentle head resting on his shoulder fueled his determination. That bond had revealed the true meaning of strength, one born not of dominance, but of empathy and resilience. As the seasons changed, Jack's reputation as a protector grew. More animals thrived under his watchful eye, and the harmony of the wilderness flourished. Yet Jack remained humble, always aware that the journey of guardianship was ongoing and ever-changing. He knew challenges would come, storms to weather, threats to face, but he was ready, armed with patience, compassion, and love. Jack stood as a steadfast guardian of the wild, a beacon of hope for the creatures who roamed freely beneath the open sky. And as he looked up at the stars once more, Jack felt a profound peace. His purpose was clear, his heart full, and his spirit connected to the wild in a way that would guide him for the rest of his days.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please comment 1. And if you didn't, just hit like. See you in the next videos.